Hello and good morning to all of you from my YouTube channel Animals and Pets with Partha. This morning I have a plan to take you to a different topic. The topic of my experience, one of my experiences as a dog breeder, and which brought me into contact with some very high police personnel, DIGs and IGs of the Orissa police. Well, in the year 1980s, I was breeding very good Dobermans at that time, and I had very good stock. They hailed from all the early imports that came in from the US. Champion Tao Bushtan the Challenger, then Linang's Knox the Scudamore. They were all from Genet Skidmore of USA. And those bloodlines were brought in by late J.B. Mukherjee, and he had passed on to me some of his finest dogs. And then he encouraged me to breed, and I did breed some wonderful litters. One of those litters I had sold to Orissa Police Dog Squad, quite a few of the puppies. I was contacted by my very old friend, Mr. Govardhan Chandra Patnaik, who is now leading a retired life. He is a retired SP or DSP of the Orissa Police Dog Squad, but at that time he was inspector. And Mr. Govardhan Patnaik took some dogs from me, and those dogs did wonders in the Orissa Police Squad, which brought me in contact with the then DIG of crime, Mr. Sankar Sen. Of course, among others were Mr. R.M. Patnaik, also a DIG of the Orissa Police, but Mr. Sankar Sen was directly involved with the crime, and so I came to know him, and on several occasions I did meet him in Orissa. Well, years passed, and they always wanted dogs from me. When I couldn't give them, they even issued a letter that I should, they will buy dogs only what I certify. Those were years long gone, some 35, 40 years at least. But closer to the time, a few years later, when I suddenly got a call from Mr. Sankar Sen, and he said, Partha, do you remember me? I am Mr. Sankar Sen, the then DIG of crime Orissa, but now I am presently posted in Calcutta as IG BSF. So we exchanged pleasantries, and he inquired about me and how I was doing with my dogs. So he, during our conversation, he asked me that he would love me to go with him to Simapur, which is in close to the border, Simanagar, near Krishnanagar, not Simapur. And then, because they had a big dog squad there, a lot of dogs were commissioned there. So he wanted to take me and take an idea as to about the dogs and about their facilities, and if he could, It was not anything official, because I was not going there on official capacity, but only on the personal request of IG Sankar Sen. So, and I always, because being a dog lover, and I was always very much open to such request, and I immediately accepted to accompany Mr. Sankar Sen. So off we went. It was a long drive to Simanagar, and in the meantime he told me that please give us a report, and I'll see what best we can do for the dogs there, and how are the dogs and things like that. Give us an impression. So I went, and then once we reached all the dogs and the handlers were asked to bring their dogs, and they all lined up in front of me. And I observed one of them had, most of the dogs were of course mediocre. They were working dogs, they were not show dogs. Well, that is acceptable. But then one of the handlers I found had bandages around, his arms and things like that, even in his feet. I just looked at him instantly, and the words came out of my mouth. Bola, in Hindi I told him, बहुत काटता है आपको? बोला हाँ साहब बहुत काटता है. बोला आप किसी को बोला नहीं? बोला जब खुश तब काट देता है. So I was surprised that how can such a dog be serving in important border posts like Simanagar, where how can he a dog which is you can even, if you look at the eyes, they look different. They were you could bite anybody anytime, and sure enough he was biting his handler most of the time, and he couldn't do anything, because if he refused, because here if a dog is just a mere dog handler, if he refused doing the job, he might be out of his job or whatever, may be punished, some way or the other. So I observed other things also, and then I told Mr. Shankar Sen that these dogs are useless wherever they come from. He says no, it's from Tekkanpur. This man went there. He had 6 months of training, 6 months of working with the dog or whatever, and then at 14 months or 15 months, whatever, they come and get commission. I said the dogs are bred in Tekkanpur, and there's a big breeding farm and training farm, and immediately my impression of that farm came to zero. I could understand that if such dogs could be kept, fed and reared and then handed over to a personnel who will be full-time working with the dog and it's been commissioned, it's just sheer waste of money. This could. So I was really very depressed, and I told him it's very sad that such things go on, but if you want, you can put in what I've said. So that was my observation. Now, I'll just tell you one other incident, or just a story about the Scotland Yard, how they function, how they select their dogs and things like that. Scotland Yard usually buys dogs from breeds, from stocks that are genetically means generation-wise, who are breeding working dogs, who have a stable temperament and great at working. Now, once they pick up puppies from those litters, then also they select the puppies. Once the puppies are selected and they are brought to Scotland Yard and they get the training, it's a 14 months training process. Until 14 months they are trained, and during that time there are a lot of rejects. They reject a lot of dogs during that time. So out of 30 dogs, only one gets selected, in spite of their having very strong genetic inheritance for working ability. And so you see here, and all the other dogs out of the 30 dogs, the one is selected, the rest are all sold out, given to people who would be very happy to have a Scotland Yard trained dog. Though it may not have made the mark, but it's still one of the finest, training stock of the dogs from the state. So now, see, so much of public money is wasted if you do not make the correct selection when you pick up those puppies that you commission in police and army and border security and all the rest. So it is very important that experts be employed. They should seek the services of international experts. Experts who would actually be able to give the correct guidance, because these in a litter of puppies, each puppy has different temperament. First of all, they need to be from great parentage with, as I have mentioned before, again I do it, genetic inheritance of having stable temperament and trainability and true to character of the breed. So now, the dogs breed specific. There are certain dogs like Labrador that, they're very good at scenting work and things like that. They're not very aggressive dogs. But when you need dogs that need to control the mob, you may need German Shepherds, which will attack on, bare their fangs and go to attack on command and stop as soon as you tell them to. And they are more intimidating for the public. So it depends on what sort of terrain, what sort of purpose and that you want your dogs to be. Because see, whatever you're spending, maybe it is government money, India being a vast country, crores and crores of rupees of drainage is going, it doesn't matter, because unless after quite a while when they realize, well, somebody will take on this department who has a interest in the breed, interest to know, or maybe then things may change. But it's not very easy in a country as vast as India. But my idea to put it on air and share it among people is that you're aware that things like this have happened and maybe still happening. So it is important that you can even employ people from India can afford to employ people from Scotland Yard. Before I finish, I'll just mention one small incident and I'll close off. There was a story that I read on Reader's Digest many years ago, and it's still in my memory. It's about a dog called Yogi. I'm sure you'll find it if you search it in the net. Now this dog there was a ship that came in and there was information there was a lot of narcotics that has come in the ship, marijuana, whatever. Anyway, so there were hundreds and thousands of parcels which had to be gone through to find out where the drugs were. So they asked, they thought that it will take several months for so many people to open every parcel and then check and then find out where the drugs were. Then they contacted Scotland Yard and asked them that whether they can do it and with their dogs. And said, how long will it take? He said, it will take us 10 minutes. So how's it? He will line them all on the deck. So all the parcels, it was decided they will line up all the parcels on the deck, everything. And then they would let the dogs loose and they would run through the parcels and they will sniff and they will point at the parcel that will exactly have the drugs in. So here came the dog, and the dogs were, the Captain Shearn, the owner, who was actually the handler of Yogi, the Labrador, which was brought in to do this job. But as they were getting down from the car, the captain, the ship captain, asked, "Is that dog Yogi?" The reply was yes. And then he said, no need to search. I will tell you where the drugs are. So this is the sort of, work you can really get from dogs with the... It's just like human beings. You see, we are not all brilliant in every job. Some people are scientists, some people, can make rockets. I can't. I have no clue how a rocket can be made. But, so it's still different things. People have born with different intellectual level. And genetically, you will find that in many families, I have found that, when parents are brilliant, the children also usually are also bright in studies and things like that. So, with this I will sign off, but remember, I will come with more such stories and different topics. Next I'll come on to you regarding aquariums and things like that. But please do subscribe to my channel, and then also please press on the bell button so you can be intimidated. You can be we can intimate you for all the uploads that we make from time to time. And like and share with all animal loving friends. I'm sure you're enjoying the contents of my episodes. I try to always bring you a new, give you a new thought, something to think about, something in the animal world which may be of interest to you. I'm sure some of you are definitely liking it, because my channel is doing very well, and thank you everybody for subscribing and also viewing, which is encouraging me to do more and more videos like this.